What's up everyone, in this video we're going to see how to deploy the BIP IP F5. This product is also known as an application delivery controller or load balancer. Now in which situation we might need a load balancer. So let's imagine the following scenario. We have here a server, let's say server 1, server 2, server 3, but let's just focus on server 1 for now. And let's remove from the picture big IP1 and big IP2. So we have just server 1 hosting a web application and it is being requested by client 9. So if we add client 10 to the picture, depending on the server capacity, so it won't be a problem to deliver the web application. Now, if we have more clients requesting services on the server that the server is able to respond, then we will have all the resources exhausted on the server. So to solve this problem, we might have to add additional servers. And once we do that, we have to ensure that the requests from the clients are being delivered evenly among the servers. And we might want to add some intelligence as to way to do that. But that's where the load balance comes in the picture. With the load balancer, we can use load balance algorithms to deliver the requests or the load from the clients to the servers in different ways, such as we can send more requests to server 1 as the most powerful server on the pool, and we can send less requests to server 3 as the weakest server on the pool. We might also do things such as allow certain IP ranges to only reach server 2, or to deny certain IP ranges from making any request at all to the web application being delivered by the web servers. So there is a lot that can be done with a load balancer. And what we're going to focus on this video series, we're just going to be the LTM module. So the process to deliver the Big IP F5 will involve downloading the Big IP image, license the unit, provision the unit, and then deploy on a certain environment such as the one we have here on the diagram. Now from now on, I'm just going to refer to it as F5. To download F5 image, you have to register first on F5 website. Once you're successfully validated, you'll be able to download the image that you want. Okay, so now let's take a look at F5. It is already powered on and I haven't made any configuration yet. So default credentials for these are root and password default. And we have to change the default credentials the first time we log in. So we have to type the same password and now we have to set the new one. Okay, doing that, the password for admin was changed as well. The reason why I like to start with the console is that I want to change the management IP first, so that we can manage these using the GUI interface. Most of the changes that we'll do using GUI interface or configuration utility, they can also be done using the CLI, but we're going to do mainly the changes using the GUI interface as it's easier. So a little info about the console. This shell is very similar to Linux shell. So if I type who am I, print working directory to list the directory, as you can see, those commands are typically from the Linux realm. And we have another shell, and that's Timos shell, and we get into this shell by typing tm shell. And here we make changes that affect the system, such as changing the interface, creating nodes, adding rules, things that affect directly the F5. And we're going to see this in a moment. So we want to change the management IP. The first thing we have to do is to disable DHCP service on that interface. So we'll type modify C's, that's global, that's the, okay, let me type again. So modify C's, global settings, management DHCP, disabled. Okay, this is done. And now let's change the IP. So create C's, management IP 192.168.43.131.24. That's going to be its IP. And now I want that those changes survive reboot. So I have to save this. Partitions. Oh. Okay, this is great. And now if we want to return to Linux shell, we type quit. Now let's see if we can reach that new IP address. That should be HTTPS 192.168.43.131. Okay, we're going to click on advanced and proceed. And here we will type the username is going to be admin, and the password is the new password we define. Oh, it failed. Okay, let me try again. Okay, and we have to change the password for this user as well, and we have to type the new password, and we can save that. Okay, so now let's try to log in with the new password. So root and admin now have different passwords. Okay, let me do it again. And we can see that the device right now, it's not operational, and we have to install a license and provision so that we can start using it. So let's begin the setup utility. And here we're going to click on activate, and we need to get the base registration key from F5, and we get from product trials. So here you will request the license to use BIP IP Virtual Edition, and they will email you the license, or you can download the license directly from the license file from here. So once you get the license file, you can paste on base registration key field. If your F5 has internet connection, you can leave the activation method to automatic, but if don't, like I'm using this case, so I'll be using manual, and then I'll click on next. Here you get a dossier, and with this dossier you will have to activate on F5. So you will copy this content, this dossier, and you go to activate.f5.com and you'll click on activate F5 product registration key. And then it will give you another file that's going to be the license, and you're going to pass the license on this field. And then you click on next. Okay, so let's continue. And you can see that we get this warning that the license is about to expire. And right now the module enabled, it's LTM. And you can enable any other module as long as you're licensed to do so. Just take into account that its resources to be operational. So we're going to click on next. Here we can renew the certificate, or we can import. I'm just going to leave the default for now. As for management IP, I'm going to leave it as it is. Here we have to set the host name, and it has to be a fully qualified domain name. So I'm going to name it lb1.baltec.com. Time zone going to be GMT or +0. Root account we have to change, and have to do it twice. I want to enable SSH access from all IPs. Okay, so let's proceed. Okay, so that part is done. So now let's start with redundancy, VLANs, NTP, DNS, config, failover, and mirror. So this config sync and high availability, it is related to high availability. The failover method is going to be network. Now, here we're going to start defining the IP addresses as per interfaces. As you can see, we'll be using 3 interfaces. E1.1 will be external interface. E1.2 is going to be inside interface, and E1.3 is going to be the interface for replication with the big IP 2. So the IP is going to be 192.168.101.131. The net mask is going to be 24. The floating IP, that's going to be essentially just like virtual IP if you have different units of F5. It's like setting up virtual routing, VRRP, HSRP, GSBP. So it's just a virtual IP that's going to be shared with different units. So in this case, it's going to be 192. Let me confirm if I'm using 192. Yes, it's 192. But I want to confirm as well from the servers. Yes, what's the IP I'm using? It's 172. Okay, I thought so. Let me replace that. 172, and I believe that's 16. And here must be the same thing. It's 172, 16. And on the client, that should be a public IP. It's 192.1.1. 192.1. That's /24. And 192. I believe that's 12.24. Okay, that's best. So continue. So it's going to be 172.16, 101, 131, which means that here is going to be 172, 16, 101, 254. That's going to be internal. VLAN tag can be any number. I'm just going to set it to be 101. I won't have control. The interface is going to be 1.3 and it's going to be untagged. I'm going to add this one and click on next. Now for external VLAN, I'm going to create a new one and the address is going to be 172.16.100.131. The net mask is going to be /24. Default gateway is going to be 172.16.101. The floating IP is going to be 172.16.100.254. And let's see, VLAN ID is going to be 100. The interface is 1.1. Tagging, untag, add, and next. Now for high availability, this is going to be the IP 172.16.103.131. Net mask is going to be /24. VLAN tag is going to be 103, and the interface is 13. Untagged, going to add, click on next. Oh my bad. So how can I do this? I believe I chose 1.3 earlier. Okay, so let's just do this. See if I can do this again. Next. Internal, it's okay. It's 1.2. That's the problem. Yes, that should be 1.2. Untagged. Add. Next. External is 100. It's 1.1. Okay. Next. High availability. 172, 16, 103, 131, 24. VLAN tags 103. Interface 13, and that's going to be untagged. Next. For NTP, that's going to be my NTP server 9120. And click on next. DNS, I won't be using DNS. Now config sync, this is related to which interface is going to be used to sync information with the other F5 peer. So in this case, it's going to be 103 interface. Okay, here we're going to leave these two interfaces to be used as failover, so the management and HA interface. I'm going to click on next, and the primary local mirror address is going to be HA. And right now, this is all we have to do for now. So let's click on finish. And right now we can see that the status is active and this standalone device. Okay, that's awesome. That's what we want. So if we take a look at the network interface self IPs, we see here the IP address we assign to, and take a look at the interfaces 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Okay, and this means we should be able to reach the servers and to reach the router as well. So let me open the console. Okay, can we ping 172.16.101.1? We can. So this is server 1, server 2, and server 3. Now can we reach the router on 16.101? And we can. So okay, we're going to end this video at this point because I don't want to extend it too much, And on the next one, we're going to see how to deploy the other elements that make F5 what it is. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one.